Hi everyone! Welcome back to another episode. I'm Lena, and today we're going to talk about something that almost everyone struggles with at some point in their life, and that is overthinking. Because sometimes the biggest problem is not what's happening in our life, but what's happening inside our mind.
Hi guys, I'm Maya, and this topic is very real for me because I used to overthink everything, every small decision, every conversation, every mistake. I would replay it again and again in my head, and honestly, it was exhausting.
I think a lot of people can relate to that because overthinking feels like you're trying to solve a problem, but in reality, you're just creating more stress and confusion. And instead of moving forward, you get stuck in your own thoughts.
Exactly, and the worst part is that most of the time, the things we overthink never even happen. Like we imagine the worst possible outcomes, and we scare ourselves for no reason.
That's so true, and I think overthinking is closely connected to fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of making the wrong decision. And that fear keeps you from taking action.
Yes, and instead of doing something, you stay in your head, analyzing every possible outcome, trying to be perfect, trying to avoid mistakes, but in the end, you just waste time and lose opportunities.
Let's talk about how overthinking affects daily life. Because it's not just about big decisions. It's also about small things, like sending a message, talking to someone, or even starting a simple task.
Oh yes, like writing a message and then deleting it 5 times before sending it. Or thinking, what if they misunderstand me? Or what if I sound stupid? And that stops you from being yourself.
Exactly. And the problem is that the more you overthink, the less confident you become. Because you start doubting everything. Your decisions, your words, even your abilities.
And that creates a cycle. You overthink, you don't act. You feel worse, and then you overthink even more.
So the big question is, how do we stop overthinking?
For me, the first step was realizing that not every thought is true. Just because something comes to your mind doesn't mean it's real or important.
That's a very powerful idea, because we often believe everything we think. But our mind can create negative scenarios that are not based on reality.
Exactly, and another thing that helped me was taking action quickly. Like instead of thinking too much, I just do it, even if it's not perfect.
Action really breaks overthinking. Because when you act, you move forward. But when you think too much, you stay stuck.
Yes, and I also started setting time limits for decisions. Like I will decide in 5 minutes, and that helped me stop overanalyzing everything.
Another important thing is focusing on the present moment. Because overthinking usually happens when you're either stuck in the past or worried about the future.
That's so true, and simple things like breathing, walking, or even exercising can help bring your mind back to the present.
Let's also talk about perfectionism, because I think it's a big reason for overthinking. People want everything to be perfect, and that creates pressure.
Yes, and perfection doesn't exist. The more you chase it, the more you delay action, and the more frustrated you become.
So maybe the goal should not be perfection, but progress.
Exactly, done is better than perfect.
Before we end, let's give some advice to anyone listening who struggles with overthinking.
I would say, don't believe every thought you have. Take action even if you're unsure. And remember that most of your fears are not real.
And my advice would be, trust yourself. Accept that mistakes are part of growth. And focus on what you can control right now. Thank you so much for listening. We hope this episode helped you understand your mind better.
And remember, your thoughts don't control you. You control your thoughts.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
See you in the next episode. Bye.